How the heck are you, everybody? Welcome to a full hero breakdown and kit reveal for the newest ancient exclusive character in Watcher of Realms, Valara. Valara is phenomenal. She is so good. She is one of our 3 new legendaries coming to the game in the new class, Tactician, and she, in a lot of ways, is just an insanely OP AoE fighter that then has all the perks of being this crazy tactician. It is pretty nuts. She has dual faction membership as an esotericist and a supreme arbiter, and she will dominate in both of those factions. She may be the jewel of this whole bunch. You can see right above me, we've got Valara copies, we've got Moradin, and we've got Astriel. I will be breaking down each one of these 3 in a video just like this. First one is today for Valara. The second will be tomorrow for Moradin. And then on Sunday, I'll have a video on Astriel. How am I able to do this? Well, that is thank you to the phenomenal Prospector. Prospector already released a video, which you guys absolutely should go check out. He covers all 3 in one video, and it's amazing. He goes through Valara, then Moradin, then Astriel. I'm going to go day by day so I can dive a little deeper the way I like to do it, but the Prospector video is like the best overview you could want, so go check it out. And because I currently have a temporary ban from the test server, I'm allowed to cover stuff, but I'm not actually allowed to log on until July 7th and actually do my testing, which, by the way, next week I'll do plenty testing, and you'll actually get video and gameplay footage of all these guys. But because I didn't have that, Prospector gave me some of his raw footage after he finished his video today, so I have looks at all of these guys. But here you can see with Valara, we have a lot to go through, so without further ado, let's get into it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
All right, guys, there is so much I want to break down with Valara. She is a member of the Esoteria Order and the Supreme Arbiters. She can be deployed on both melee and platform tiles, which is so special. Only her and Talon have that ability in the entire game, but unlike Talon, she does not switch forms and switch what she does when she's on a melee tile versus a platform tile. She is always the same crazy AoE crowd control beast that you're about to discover that she is. Let's begin with the stats, and then I want to get into this video footage jumping around that Prospector was so kind to share with us. But let's begin with the stats. Let me pop these guys open, and you can see she's got an interesting little stat array. She's somewhere between, if we look at these stats, an actual fighter and then like maybe a marksman, maybe a mage. It's very unique. I guess it's somewhere between a fighter and a mage, but she kind of got all the good and none of the bad. So her HP is not as high as a typical fighter, same with her defense, but it is far higher than you'd expect out of a marksman or a mage, and you essentially can use her as a mage or a magic damage-dealing marksman, right? You can put her on platforms, and she's going to be tanky as hell, but also she has the sky-high attack that you'd expect out of a fighter. It's pretty phenomenal. She's coming in with 6,119 attack. So if she was a fighter, she would have the highest base attack in the entire game, full stop, for a magic damage dealing unit. So she's not as high as some of the physical DPS, but magic damage obviously scales differently since it does not interact with defense. It interacts with magic resistance, and 6,119 at 0 awakening, just full promotion, is so high. So let's actually pull up the gallery for 1 second, and let's do a comparison here. So let's look at some of our best magic fighters in the game, because if you use her as a melee unit, and when she moves around with her crazy tactician stuff, if you keep going to melee tiles, she's essentially just a supercharged fighter. So if we've got Magda over here, she's like the queen, right? She's got such good attack and multipliers, and she's got such amazing passives and abilities. Magda's base attack is 4,308. 4,308. We're talking like 1,800 less, right? Let's go to another great magic fighter. Let's go to Eris, wherever he's hiding out. Here's Eris. He's got a base attack of 5,008. This was the previous really high mark. I don't know if he's actually hard number 1. I think he is, but this is about as high as we're used to seeing for a magic DPS. Maybe actually it's Numera. Let's pull her up. And no, it's 4,821. So you kind of get the picture. We've got an AoE unit here with, when you use her as a fighter, just the highest imaginable attack. I guess we'll do one more. Let me find Valkyra over here, who's a pretty nice comparison, and she also has the dual faction membership in Arbiter. She's coming in at 4,270. This is just so much. Even still, if you're using Valara as a platformer, so effectively she's like an AoE mage, how does she stack up against those mages? Well, extremely well. extremely freaking well. So let's go to the bottom. Let's actually start with Ingrid because she's the strongest in the game. She comes in with 6,102. Let's pull up those Valara stats, 6,119. So even if Valara was a mage, if you're using her as a platform unit, she still has the highest base attack for a magic DPS. If we want to look at some other options here in the gallery for other really high attack mages, we've got Nastia. Nastia comes in at 5,317. We've got Pegasus. I believe he's at about 52, if I can find him. Where are you hiding, Pegasus? There you are, big boy. Pegasus is coming in at 5265. And then I think the last one that would come to mind would be Alistair, who's I think about 51 or 5248. So right behind Pegasus. But you can see she is like kind of head and shoulders, both as a mage and a fighter, the strongest magic DPS. Her only comp is Ingrid, and Ingrid is amazing, but very different, right? Ingrid has a very unique, very single line, interesting range, and she's strictly a platformer. Valara is everything. So to just finish off with the stats here, you can see HP a little low for a fighter, defense a little low for a fighter, but quite high. Actually, for some fighters, it's actually good defense. Same with the magic res, but in general, quite high compared to any platform unit. Attack exceptionally high. The cost is very good at 17, and it only gets better if you get Moradin and get their bond skill. You'll find out about that in a second. Also, her attack interval of 2.6 seconds is completely and utterly standard, and the rest of the stuff is fairly standard. Here are the advanced statistics if you want to see. So there you notice her rage regen auto. This is her passive basic rage regeneration every second. She'll get 14 ticks. That is slightly on the higher end than her rage regen basic. This is how much rage that her rage regen percent scales off of when she does a basic attack. That is at 8. That is slightly low. All in all, she'll cycle very fast, and there's a lot of stuff in her kit that helps with that. She is just phenomenal. She's so good. I'm not overhyping her. She is so freaking good. Now, before we get into the talent and all the skills and really dive hard into the kit, I want to start with her range right here. And you can see with just 2-star promotion, so when you ever 6-star her and fully build her, she's always going to have this range. It is your classic kind of like ranged, farther out range. I don't know a better way to say that you see with some of these fighters. So it's similar to Zila 2 or Elysia or Arrogance, one of those kind of units. And then when she ults, you'll see it fills out into a 3x4 rectangle, which is also typical for units like that. A key thing, though, right, because she's this hybrid melee platform unit, she can also hit air units, even when she's on a melee tile, which is so good. So she joins Arrogance as, like, the best anti-air fighter when you use her as a melee, even though technically she's a tactician. But when she's a melee, she's like a fighter. But for magic DPS, she's just the best. Not that you always want to be hitting air with magic, but a lot of times you do. Like in Guild Wars, you certainly do on defense, and she's goated. She's crazy, crazy good. So Prospector was really nice to show off all the promotions here. I'll go slowly in case you want to know the promotions, but obviously as soon as you get her, as soon as you can, you're going to 6-star her and make her a full 6 purple stars. But let's go to the talent now, and you can see this. It is a very good talent. She can be deployed on platform tiles. I mentioned that. So she can be both a melee and a platform unit. It's so good. When she is deployed, she's going to gain invisibility, and she cannot block enemies. So while she's in that invisible state, she loses all her block. When she ults and does her movement displacement skill, you'll see she no longer has her invisibility, so this goes away. But on that initial deployment, she is invisible until you ult. So it's kind of similar to someone like Vargas or Alora. She's going to be in that invisibility state. This may be really appealing to some of you as you're thinking about Gear Aid 3. Can I use her on the right side? She is not going to have the range to reach. She's got that 3x4 ult range on her ultimate. She would need a 5th tile of length to be able to reach those other units. That's why, in Alora or someone, they need a Piercer Lord to be able to reach, because her ult range is the same as an Idril or an Alora's non-Piercer Lord range, right? So very good, very interesting for content. Should be really spicy in Guild Wars defense. She's going to be amazing there. But yeah, the invisibility, it's a thing. When she attacks, she has a 20% chance to deal 200% AoE damage. So this is just an additional instance of AoE burst damage whenever she's doing any form of any attack. So you can kind of think of it as every attack comes with 40% more damage, because that's how it will average out over a long fight. Kind of a weird way to think of it, right? But if 1 in 5 attacks is doing 200%, if you do enough attacks, it's going to basically feel like every attack does an extra 40. On top of that, all direct damage dealt by the hero to enemies inflicts slow. What kind of slow is this? Well, actually, this is the base form. She can rev it up with her ultimate, but it starts out as a baby slow. So I just pulled that up now. the movement speed minus 25%. This is a fairly insignificant slow when it comes to actually slowing down and controlling the enemies, but it is significant when it comes to enabling units that benefit from hitting crowd-controlled targets. So all of our cultists, right? This enables the cultist lord skills. Additionally, when you see her awaken level 5, this makes it so she gets this constant crazy boost because her A5 kind of just gives her a cultist lord boost, even though she is in no way a cultist. A final key piece in her talent, though, when she is at full promotion and she's fully cooking, which is exactly what she'll be, it's an easy investment, and you will want to run her maxed out. You'll want 6 stars. You're going to want level 60. You will see there's an additional effect. When she deals direct damage, she's got that baby slow, but on top of it, a 20% chance to inflict 1 stack of radiant erosion. So this is going to be true damage based on the enemy unit's defense, and this stack will last 10 seconds. You can have up to 3 stacks. This is a very common dot effect of Arbiter units, and this is just another extra layer of boom, boom, awesome to her kit, right? She has the 20% chance to deal the 200% AoE damage, and now she also has a separate 20% chance to inflict 1 stack of radiant erosion. If we continue on now, let's actually get into the skills. I am going to skip ahead here, and I would like to start with the basic. So here's her basic. She deals 100% AoE magic damage to the target and their surrounding enemies. Remember, that range will have 1 extra tile of length once you get her with promotion. She will focus on a target and their surrounding enemies. In total, it will be a 5 multi-target hit or a 5-target AoE. This is really typical. This is like what we see with Eris. This is what we see with Valkyra. You can see here's Eris's basic, 100% AoE magic damage, 5 enemies. It is the same story with Valkyra over here, though they don't tell us it's 5. We looked into it a little over a year ago and confirmed that it is 5. But yeah, if we go back over here, it's 100%, and obviously with skill ups, it will go up to 120%. Very solid, very standard, nothing too spicy there on the basic. But do remember, all of that damage, because it fits in with her talent, it all comes with the 20% chance to deal an additional 200% AoE damage, and all of it will inflict at least the baby version slow, the minus 25% slow. It can do even more still, though, as we learn more about her kit. Let's go to that first passive now. Guiding Light during the ultimate increases the chance to inflict radiant erosion from the talent to 30%. So remember this over here, when she's fully built out, she's also going to have the 20% chance on any direct damage to inflict 1 stack of radiant erosion. This is going to raise it to a 30% chance, and actually, as you can see here, once you get this fully skilled up, it's going to be a 40% chance. So during her ultimate, the chance to land the radiant erosion is doubled, and that's on all the damage she's doing. You're going to build her at a minimum 1.5 second attack interval. Once you have half decent gear, might be closer to 1.4 or even 1.3. She will get to the full 3 stacks of radiant erosion very fast. It will be even faster if you have other arbiters, and then she will for sure maintain 100% uptime. Additionally, when she is attacking targets inflicted with radiant erosion, she will deal an extra true damage equal to 20% of her attack. That will go up to 30% with skill ups. Like I said, for any content, essentially, unless the enemy dies, they will be under radiant erosion, likely a full 3 stacks of radiant erosion just from her, let alone other ways radiant erosion can be coming from additional sources, her other arbiter allies. So basically, everything she does will come with an extra instance of true damage equal to 30% of her attack. That true damage has no chance. It's just happening. The singular contingency is just that the target is under radiant erosion. If we go to the second passive now, this is going to be Leap of Faith. Every 20 seconds, and with skill ups, this goes down to 15 seconds, and that is key, she will deal 300% AoE damage. That goes up to 400% with skill ups, and that now will hit 10 enemy targets. So there's a full and proper AoE, unlike the basics. It is big and it is nasty. It's going to be 10 enemy targets in range, and it knocks back ground targets while inflicting magic res reduction on them. So on ground units, she is going to put out magic res reduction. This is essentially a defense break or a defense decrease, but for magic damage. It's the magic version. How strong is it? Let me pop that up now. It is going to last for 10 seconds, which is incredibly long, and it is a minus 30% magic res reduction. This is the single highest magic res reduction we have in the game, similar to the minus 30% we get from Lyra. It's similar to the minus 30% we get from Ajax through his passive. It's the same as what we get from Nastia, minus 30%. She ties all those guys as having the largest magic res reduction in the game, but actually, unlike Nastia and Lyra, she's AoE. right? So this can be up to 10 enemy units if they're all ground units that are getting knocked back, right? So she kind of fits in with Ajax as having the strongest, and it is very, very good. The final part here, let me get this out of the way, is going to be the Talent's Radiant Erosion is guaranteed to be inflicted. So this specific instance of damage, the 400% every 15 seconds at max skill ups that can hit up to 10 enemy units, 10 enemy ground targets, guarantees it will land the Radiant Erosion, which is like a lot of great damage. It's the true damage over time. It will last for 10 seconds. You can have up to 3 stacks, but also it enables the other passive over here, right? So now for at least those next 10 seconds against all of those units, when she's hitting any of them, she's going to deal the extra true damage. It is very, very nice. Finally, now we have her arena passive, her arena mastery. Arena damage increases damage in the arena by 15%. And yeah, spoiler alert, she's going to be really, really, really good in arena. She'll probably have some actual play in anti-air arena, though from everything I read, I'll have to test a bit more. This passive doesn't really play into air units. It's only ground targets. But, she can always hit air units, so she's going to have play there. And then without a doubt, AoE Arena. She's going to be very, very, very good in AoE Arena. Could she facilitate some new kind of meta? We will have to see, but undoubtedly she'll carry you very, very far. And for people that just want to like break into Overlord, she's going to be amazing. Is she Apex viable? She might be Apex dominant. She might be like a very off meta option. We don't know, but she is really, really good. All right, let's take it back now, y'all, to the ultimate. And here it is, Wings of Pegasus. Can choose and move to a deployable tile within 4 tiles. So in a 4 tile radius all around her, it is like half of the map. A 4 tile radius is huge. She can move to any single tile that you can deploy a unit on. That includes both melee tiles and platform tiles. Additionally, she will remove her invisibility state, increase her attack range. It fills out that 3x4 rectangle, as I mentioned earlier, and she deals 220% AoE damage to 10 enemy targets with each attack. So that's the big version, like what we saw in the passive. It's not like the baby 5 targets that we typically see and we saw here with the basic. At full skill ups, that's going to be 240% AoE damage. This lasts for 15 seconds, but it's 20 seconds with full skill ups. And then, of course, it's 900 costs, but it's 800 costs with full skill ups. So when you fully max this out, which of course you should, I mean, once you need her, you want her maxed out, and she's amazing. You got an 800 cost ult here with a very high initial cost of 600. It's going to last for 20 seconds the whole time she's dealing boosted damage of, I think I said 240%. I'm sorry, 260% AoE damage to 10 enemy targets over those 20 seconds. She loses the invisibility, but she gets the increased attack range, and additionally, she gets a boosted slow. So you can see the talent inflicts an enhanced slow. Unfortunately, it is not the totally big boy version. It's not the full -75, but it is a much more respectable -50. And this is very viable now for slowing them down actually and controlling. It's no longer essentially just enabling CC damage boosts. But it is a very, very, very good ultimate. I'm very high on this character. I'm putting my flag down now. I think she is completely phenomenal, and I hope everyone gets her. The final thing I have to show you now is her bond skill with Moradin, and it's very good. You're going to want to get Moradin too. That one you can control. He's going to be a normal limited, so rare summons and diamonds. It will take exactly 200 at a maximum. If you get him earlier, you get him earlier, and he also has an amazing kit. But this bond skill and the bond skill she gives him, very, very good. But what bond skill does Moradin give her? Well, once you obtain him, and then you don't need to deploy him or bring him to battle. The second you pull him and you own him, even if you go off and sell him after that, you shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't. But even if you did, you will have forever unlocked this bond skill, Rays of Dawn, and you get the following bonus effect. Reduces her initial deployment cost by 5. Remember, her deployment cost is 17, so now that initial deployment, which is the only deployment that matters unless you're cycling or you're worried she's going to die and you have to redeploy her, she's now 12 costs. That is dirt freaking cheap. It's like Ardia. She's just so easy to use in PvP content and progression content now. A second part of the bond skill, a second bonus. During the ultimate, if there are no enemy units in range, she will restore 8% rage every 2 seconds. Remember, that ultimate lasts 20 seconds when you have her at full skill ups. So that means every other second, you're getting 8% more rage for 20 seconds. 10 of those seconds, you're getting that boost. You're getting 80% rage during her ultimate if there's no one in her range. You might think you won't trigger her ultimate if no one's in range, but that's actually wrong, right? Because you're going to use her ultimate to move her around. So in content like the Black Sewer, in the first instance we have now of Malric's Halls of Illusion, you might be moving her preemptively to get prepared. That could be true of a lot of content in the future. So this basically lets you move her, and essentially, as long as you don't need her for 20 seconds, she'll she'll have her ult fully back up right when it ends. And it's very good. The other use for this is she hits really hard, so she might kill everybody, and then the ult's still going. So once everyone's dead and out of the way, she's going to start getting rage back, and then the second people come back, she's essentially full on her ult. It is exceptionally good. She's so good. All right, this has been a long one, but I just love this character. Let's finish up with Awakenings and take it home. Let's head over here and let's start with her A1. This is a good one. They've got a very nice Awakening right off the bat. That's really good because obviously her Awakened one, A1, is the most accessible. When enemies enter her attack range, they instantly are inflicted with 1 stack of Radiant Erosion, so you've already gotten that 10 seconds up at a minimum of Radiant Erosion, and you have already started enabling her passive, so for at least those 10 seconds, any of those guys she hits while they're under Radiant Erosion, she's going to get that true damage, that 40% based off of her attack, and also she'll be putting out more Radiant Erosion, so this is really good. This is also really nice in Arena, making sure you get the Radiant Erosion immediately, but then the key thing, whenever she attacks any target inflicted with Radiant Erosion, placed by her or placed by someone else, she will ignore 25% of magic resistance. Everything she does is magic damage and true damage, so as long as she's not dealing the true damage, that's ignoring everything already. She's just ignoring 25% of defense. She's shredding 25% of the magic defense. That's on top of additive with the magic res reduction, the 30% she's already bringing. So most of the time she will be ignoring, like the vast majority of the time, she will be ignoring 55% of magic defense. She'll be shredding through 55% of the magic resistance. The A2 now, typically I don't like plus 5% because usually plus 300 is more, but if you've got a unit with over 6,000 base attack, plus 5% is better. So this is really good, right? So 5% of 6,100, we're talking something like 305 additional attack, just about. Really good. We'll absolutely take it. Let's soldier on to the A3. During her ultimate, she becomes immune to the first instance of damage taken. After triggering this effect, she reduces all damage taken by 50% for 5 seconds. So her ultimate lasts 20 seconds. She'll have that initial instance blocked, and then we'll have all incoming damage halved, a reduction of 50% for the next 5 seconds. But this could be better than you think, because maybe she's ulting and she's not taking damage for the first few seconds. Those 5 seconds of halved incoming damage, the reduction by 50% of all damage taken, that will not kick in until she takes that first instance of damage and triggers the one instance of immunity to that damage taken. So this actually could make it so she's really at no point or almost no point during her ultimate taking a full 100% incoming damage. If we go to the A4 now, you'll see she gets plus 8% penetration. Add that with all the other stuff. She's always now ignoring a minimum of 63% of magic defense. It is a 63% magic resistance shred. And then finally, the A5, she deals 20% increased damage to targets inflicted with slow and any other crowd control effect. So she's getting like her own little personal cultist effect, right? She's doing increased damage to targets inflicted with slows and control effects, basically anyone under CC. Valara is absolutely the real deal. You know, I've definitely had a couple negative videos lately. That just comes from honest and constructive concern for the game because I love this game and want it to succeed. She's awesome. Is she going to help this game succeed? If people can get her, I guess, or they start doing more accessible things like this. But hey, in a vacuum, this is very exciting. This is an OP hero, and I hope every single one of you pull her. Sincerely, I do. A final thank you to Prospector. Go check out his video. I will link it in the description as well as his channel. He really made this possible, as he has also made possible the next 2 videos. The Morden video like this you'll get tomorrow, and then, of course, the Astral video you will get on Sunday. And yeah, he's a great friend. He's a great creator. Go check him out. A huge thank you to him. Thank you guys for watching. I have to go edit this beast. This is going to take me forever, so I really hope you like it. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.